when the white people came here and took our land, they didn't come and take our land as an individual. They took it as settlers and then pushed us to a like sardines in congested environments with no economic opportunities. It is white people who must be ashamed of what they've done to us. You cannot turn tables now and want to blame me for the crimes committed by white people. It is a white regime that killed children in 1976. It is the white regime that killed children in the 80s and in the early 90s. It is white people who engaged in the wars of dispossession and forcefully took our land and our cows. Why can't you take responsibility? Why can't you for once just say sorry for the crimes we've committed against you? Why do you want to become victims when we are the biggest victims here? When we have lost everything? When we as black people remain a traumatized nation? A nation that doesn't know what the future holds for them. At least you are guaranteed the future. At least you know if it doesn't work for you here, you can go somewhere else. We've got nowhere to go. And then you come here and want to accuse me, a victim of racism, of being a racist. It's a huge insult, not only to me, but to black people. Madiba coerced us into reconciling with people who have never been one with. That was a myth. It is unrealistic. You can't reconcile if you've never been together. You never came here with an intention to be with us. You came here with an intention to conquer us. And we remain conquered.
You're using this term, you. And this is detached from reality. You want to say that you, me, white people,
You
are the same as people from 1652, from 350 years ago.
You are the same.
It's the same.
You are the same. You are the same.
Sorry, let's not go into a debate, please. Let's put the question. Mr. Malema, just listen to the question.
The claim is a very simple one. That the way that we deal with things in the justice system is we don't ask someone, are you a member of a particular race? Has that race committed crimes? Yes, that race has committed crimes, therefore you are liable for those crimes. The way that we deal with things in court is we say, did you, as an individual, commit that crime? Are you a murderer? If you are a murderer because of what you did as an individual, we hold you liable. We don't say,
my apologies, Your Lordship. You can't structure how the witness should answer the question. If the question is a question of an individual murder in a criminal trial, there's merit to the proposition. But if he's dealing with a systematic issue, then you can't direct him as to how he should answer on an individual basis. He's dealing with a systematic issue, he should be permitted to do so.
well, the question is very simple. It's to point out that a systematic analysis is fundamentally flawed, and it is premised on the idea of holding individuals liable for the crimes committed by their racism. I'm giving an example where I say that's not how we run things in a just country. We hold individuals liable for their crimes. And the danger of what you do is that you attribute crimes committed by others merely because they have the same skin tone to individuals. And I'm saying this is a simple question. If someone were to say, here is evidence of black people having committed crimes of murder, rape, genocide, and then said, I want to hold this particular black individual liable for those crimes, even though they never did it themselves.
Sorry,
You
Mr.
describe it as racist.
Sorry, Mr. Oppenheimer, you list also genocide
Yes.
by the individual. I'm not sure whether you still referring, because you started off by saying if an individual is identified to have done murder, rape, and then you say genocide. I thought genocide is much broader than simply one single act of murder.
Yes, well, my lord, in other words, an individual could be held liable. In other words, an individual could perform the act of genocide by killing thousands, tens of
Yes.
thousands of people.
I'm just worried that the word genocide may lead to a further debate
Yes.
between you and the witness. Maybe it needs to be, if you can unpack it outside the others.
Very simple. If it is the case that there are some black people who have committed crimes of murder, rape, and theft, then it would be racist to attribute those crimes to a different black individual that
Yes. My Lord, he asked me a question before I got interrupted about the similar issue that individuals commit crime and then should we say black? And I said no. But there is now a problem, my Lord, in our society where the women are being killed in their numbers. And they've come up with a hashtag called men are trash. Me and you sitting here, my Lord, we've never raped any woman, we've never killed any woman. But we appreciate the frustration they find themselves in. And because we are not trash and we are not murderers and we are not rapists, when they say men are trash, we are so unaffected individually because we know we don't subscribe to that. I call whites racist in the presence of my legal team and all those whites I work with. They are unaffected because they know they are not racist. They know I'm not talking to them. So it was a systematic arrangement of white people who came up with a segregation policy to isolate us. It was not an individual, my Lord. It was the colonialists, the settlers who came and took our land collectively, took our minerals collectively. We cannot blame that on an individual. Only a narrow-minded person will say, because a black person individually commit murder, not through a systematic black system that says we must go and kill people, then we must generalize these black people. But the generalization of white people is based on the system that they themselves developed. By the way, you are the ones who came with this thing of classifying people with race. We never woken up in the morning and declared we are black. You declared us black so that you can isolate yourself from us. You've got the blame to take and take responsibility. White people, till to date, and your leaders, many of them refuse to go to the TRC just to take a stand and apologize.
Now here's the difficulty that I have.
So if you're not a racist, don't be offended.
Here's the difficulty I have with your position. You want to make a broad claim, white people are racist, except for, of course, all the white people who aren't racists. White people are landlords, except for all the people who haven't stolen land. Is that what you're saying?
White people stole our land.
Which white people?
White people who came and settled here.
350 years ago.
Yes.
Even white people now are land thieves.
Yes. They remain land thieves.
They remain land thieves.
Yes. The land has not been returned into the hands of the rightful owners. For as long as you are in a possession of a stolen car, you remain a criminal.
Let's use that analogy as a car. Now, a simple situation. An individual steals my car. They have a claim against me for the return of that car, and I should be punished for stealing that car. Imagine that it's the father of the individual who stole the car, and I now pursue the son. You might say, well, there's a very close link here. You've got the car in your possession, you should return the car. But your case isn't like that. Your case is to go back 350 years ago and say, someone who looks like your grandfather, great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, stole land from someone who looks like my great-great-great-great-grandfather. And therefore you today must pay it back.
But
Now, I put it to you that that is not an ordinary sense of justice.
But who pays reparation?
yes,
Your Lordship, if we're going to infuse legal argument as a proposition to the client, then I think it's only fair that there be a balance. So my learned friend must take the argument further. If he says if the father steals the car and gives it to his son, technically speaking, the father is a criminal. But as a matter of fact, the son himself is a criminal for possession of stolen property. So if he's going to make a legal argument, he must take it to its natural conclusion, because it has an implication of what my client is suggesting, that if you remain in possession of stolen land, albeit that you didn't steal it, you remain a criminal, albeit perhaps in a different form. And that's the proposition he's making.
My learned friend appears to be testifying on behalf of witnesses to what his response would be. I'm just pointing out to you, very simply, that what you're trying to do is attribute guilt across lines over 350 years, regardless of whether a particular piece of land owners of the land. Your claim is that the rightful owners of the land must be black people, regardless of whether they have any particular rights to their land. We have a restitution process in place in South Africa. And Mr. Rhodes has given some evidence on how that restitution process works. It's very simple. The Constitution says, after 1913, if you can show you were dispossessed, then you must either receive the land back, or you must receive restitution. In other words, in the form of financial compensation. And that process has been undergone. You are calling for something much more radical. In other words, instead of looking at the individual
Mr.
party,
Oppenheimer, please put the question to the witness and let the witness respond.
Yeah, I'm also
Otherwise,
lost.
we're going to be here until next year.
yes. Simple question is, how do you justify holding someone today liable for crimes committed by someone else 350 years ago?
There is a saying ya hore bana ba tla otlwa ka bokgopo ba batswadi ba bona. I don't know how to say it in English. There will be an interpreter here. You cannot take a stolen car from your father and claim you are not a criminal. It remains a stolen car.
Let's give counsel an opportunity, and I'll give it a shot. What he's saying is that the children will be punished for the sins of their parents.
Yes. So when you steal a car and you pass over the stolen car to your children, it makes that child a criminal as well, because it's in possession of stolen goods. And that child passes that car, or doesn't even pass that car. He sells that car to go and buy another car with the money of stolen goods. It remains a stolen good, the property you bought. With the money stolen, got from a stolen goods. You are in possession of stolen property. Return it, please. Your parents have left you a very bad name. And don't blame it on us. But I asked a question earlier. Reparations are paid.
I might just stop you right there. Why I have the name that I have is that my grandparents fled Nazi Germany and sought refuge in South Africa in the 30s to avoid extermination. Now the witness has brought up my name, and I will use something to respond to.
I never brought your name. I never brought your name.
Sorry, Mr. Oppenheimer, we can't get into debate with the witness.
I've never brought your name.
Perhaps I have a solution to this. The witness testified at least 3 times yesterday that when he says you, I'm talking about your client. 3 times. The second point is we're getting into a debate, and perhaps it's an opportune time for us to take a tea break as well.
Yes, Mr. Oppenheimer.
Yes, I'm going to take it.
I want to ask to complete on this one. Are you completed on this question? Because I wouldn't want it to take further time after tea.
Yes, well then let's finish the question.
Yes.
When you said your name, you're referring to my surname of Oppenheimer.
You see, if he's going to be personal with me like that, I'm going to take a big issue. I've never brought Oppenheimer's name. I don't even know his name. I don't know. I've never, my Lord, called him by name. I've always referred to him as you, and I clarified it that I'm referring to a client.
When you said your name, what are you referring to?
What do you mean?
You testified now. Your name. Now, what are you referring to?
Your name, Oppenheimer.
No, I'm asking you. I'm giving you an opportunity to explain what it is you mean. You said your name. Explain what you mean.
If I can assist your Lordship,
Yes.
the witness clearly struggling with the reference to your name. So the witness's testimony earlier was, your fathers, your parents have left you a bad name.
Yes.
And now the witness perhaps now has
Okay.
context of what is meant and perhaps can respond.
Yes, my Lord, when I say your name, I mean them as white people. Your parents have left you a bad name. So that is the context I'm using it. So please, if you are going to be a legal representative, you are going to have to reduce yourself from this case as an individual. Remove your emotions and deal with me as a professional. Because if you are going to come to me as a personal person, individual, I will no longer look at you as a professional. I will decisively deal with you as an individual.
Let's pause for a moment. I think we're going to take a tea break. But I think one of the difficulties and the challenge in the questioning Mr. Oppenheimer is there's confusion that comes about the systematic issues and the individual issues. I think try and make sure that you stick to one of them at a particular time, because they keep coming backwards and forward. At one stage it was a systematic problem about dispossession, and then it then came to examples about stealing of motor vehicles by individuals. And I think that's where the whole confusion comes up, and then we end up in this whole debate. So try and make sure that you draw that distinction in your questions.
Well, my point is that why this line of questioning is to show that what's being done is to hold individuals liable for the sins of their fathers and the sins of their survival. And I appreciate the clarity of when he says your name, he means the bad name of white people, and he's not referring to myself. And I take that evidence as a mistake.
Okay.
But my lord, I was interrupted here on a point of reparations. We have seen countries paying reparations, generations way after those crimes were committed to those nations. The current generation taking responsibility for the sins committed by generations centuries ago. And that argument has never arisen, that no, why are you blaming us? Why are we the ones who are paying for the sins of our parents? So this matter that why are we paying for the sins of our parents or grandparents as the current generation is neither here nor there. You have inherited the debt and you shall pay the debt.
I understand it. Let's take the decision.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll adjourn for tea.